These people are very strange. Although, to be fair, I'm sat here fucking filming myself, so... They've walked up and down and up and down. They're interrupting my filming. Good morning. Today is an early one. I have work, unfortunately. I need to get some Pilates done quickly before I head off, and then when I get there, I'm going to different to yours per se. So yeah, right, to work. Muscle recovery is something that is completely down to the individual person themselves when it comes to how much effort they're going to put in, what kind of job they do, how badly they hurt that particular part of their body, and then you've got to just utilize that to the different benefits and the obviously negatives there are. So for me, my motorcycle accident, I injured my right hand side of my body, pretty much the entire right hand side of my body. I had a little bit of a shoulder niggle, neck injury, and primarily my back and down by my glutes. So when I had the majority of my issues, these obviously then led on to lots of different things. And this is the other thing about muscle recovery. It's not it's not just about the area you've hurt, it's then what you do to compensate making that better. One of the top things I've always seen people do is banana their bones. So like, this is more for people who have had serious operations and people who have completely not used an area of their body. The muscles atrophy, so they get smaller, and what happens then is the bones are not strong enough and the muscles aren't strong enough to withstand the weight of your actual body, so the bones bend themselves in the middle and create like a banana shape, which then you have to get surgically put right. There's lots of things you have to do in order to aid that muscle recovery. So, you know, the top thing I want to do is be in the gym all day, every day, 6 hours a day. I'd love to do that. A, it's completely unnecessary. B, what's the fucking point? And C, like, there's better things to do in life. Like, using fitness as a tool is fantastic to better yourself physically and mentally, to help with depression, anxiety, general fitness. It's fucking awesome. I need to stop swearing. Yes, so the doctor recommended that I do an hour's worth of Pilates every single day. Or stretching, sorry, an hour's worth of stretching every single day. And that's all well and good. Have you ever stretched for an hour a day? Do you know how hard, do you know, if you were to fit, like, take gym out of the equation, which I had done, when you're in that much pain and you have to do those muscle recovery things like stretching, and, you know, especially for people who have had an operation and you need to go into the gym and you're trying to work on those muscles that are in pain. This is the thing you've got to realize, like, you're trying to improve yourself in pain, and this is why I think a lot of people don't bounce back from operations properly, because they don't have the capability mentally and physically to be able to push themselves to get better. That's the hard thing. A lot of people are just like, oh well, you know, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to do the bare minimum to get to this stage. But how is that going to benefit you in your life? These people are very strange. Although, to be fair, I'm sat here fucking filming myself, so they've walked up and down and up and down. They're interrupting my filming. Very interesting and very hard to be able to work, gym, do everything you want to do in life and still be able to do things. So I had months off of work because of my motorcycle accident, which, you know, happens, of course. You know, I didn't break a bone, I didn't die. You know, there's so many things that could have happened to me. I'm so thankful for that. But yeah, being in pain every single day is, you meet people, I've met people who say they're in pain every day. I met one person, they were large. Now, I'm not going to sit here and accommodate everybody's feelings. That's not who I am. That's not the kind of message I want to push. You know, I'm going to be as honest as I physically can with you people. So I think that's the best way. If I'm honest with you, you're honest with me. That's what I prefer. There's no point me sit here and put on this whole fake facade like, oh, you know, everybody's perfect, everybody's beautiful. No, you can be obese. You can be in danger of harming yourself. And you put your close family and friends' lives in, not danger, danger's the wrong word, but you're not helping them. You're not benefiting their lives. You're causing a strain on them because you can't walk. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. What I have a problem with is the people who won't sort that problem out. Now, every single person has their own battles, their own demons, their own issues in life, and that's cool. You know, you have your coping mechanisms, whether that's starving yourself or you're force feeding yourself, you know, or drugs, guns, you know, crime, whatever your fix is to get over what's happened to you in your life. Whatever coping mechanism you choose to use, there are some that are obviously more beneficial than others and some that are just downright wrong. So what I want to try and help is not only sorting out your physical fitness, is sorting out your mental ability in order to deal with the emotions and the feelings that you have going on a daily basis. Because A, nobody is doing that. B, you know, I'm not a qualified professional. I'll happily sit here and say I am no counsellor. I'm no trauma therapist. However, I have met enough now, and I've met enough overly qualified people who have sat there and said, you're more qualified than some of the counsellors that I teach, or you know more than some of the counsellors I supervise. You know, so I have a great understanding of mental health, anxiety, depression, all of that, because I've been through it. I mean, you name it, I've been there. I've been in the darkest places, and that's why I'm not going to sit here and say I know everything, because I don't. Every day is a school day. Every day you're going out and learning something different, and that's what I absolutely love about this world. And the people that you meet is because you don't know what's going to come around that corner. You have no idea, and that's why life is so exciting. But yeah, I'm only going to be able to help you off of my own standpoint, my own where I've been, how I've dealt with these problems. They might not work for you, but they might work for you. Together, we would be able to do that with each other and ensure that there is growth and development. Because that's at the end of the day, all I want with you, working coach to client, is your life to improve. I am here telling you that you will be able to build resilience around whatever has happened to you in your life, and then once being able to identify those issues, build resilience around it and progress, not have that draw you back. What a lot of people have mental health issues, and it is an anchor for them. They can't get out of bed, they can't move. I had a very close colleague at my last place of business who suffered with anxiety and depression, and I absolutely loved him to bits. And you know, there's some days, I had this amazing colleague at work, absolutely love him to bits, and I was so upset when I couldn't help him, because there was just no relatable ground there at all. I'm hoping you guys coming to me now are going to want to change your life, and that's the thing that most people are incapable of doing, wanting to make that change. Once you want to make that change, I think everything comes in around you. If you never want to make that change and you're almost forced into making that change, you'll regress, you'll go backwards, you won't want to complete the change, you won't want to better yourself and become a different person. I'm not saying you're going to change and you're going to be a whole different person, but you're going to have such a different outlook on life, you're going to have such a more positive outlook on life. Why would you not want that? Something a lot of people have said to me is, how are you able to do this? Why are you doing this? And the biggest thing for me why is because I want more people to know about how serious mental health is, and about how serious mental health can cause serious debilitating life problems for you, no matter how old you are. And this is why it bothers me so much when people turn around and go, oh, it happened 15, 20 years ago, it happened 50 years ago, who cares? Move on. I'm like, I'll move on when I've processed it and when I'm ready to move on. At the moment, it's at the forefront of my mind. My motorbike accident caused a lot of post-traumatic stress in terms of large impacts, and I don't even think it was the actual motorcycle accident that was the problem. Obviously, no, I take that back. The motorcycle accident was a problem. It led me to not being able to walk. However, the not being able to walk, it was so funny when I was ill a year on after the accident. It was so strange. I remember it so vividly. I was in bed doing very much nothing. I was supposed to be getting up for work, and I just couldn't. I was in my, literally every time I moved, I just felt this. It was almost like if you got a leather belt, and stretched it as long as it will go, and slapped it against your bare skin, but across your back, right up one side, just inside your spine, as hard as you physically can. That's what it felt like when I moved. But so it went from the very tip of my head down to my knee, and it went all the way down like that. So it's just agonising. I couldn't move, couldn't put clothes on, I could barely eat, you know. Went to private hospital because the NHS were going to take too long. They said 6 months, which is fantastic. I love the NHS, but I can't spend 6 months in bed not being able to move. And my mum getting me dressed, that's not the one. So I had to go private. I went private. X-rays, CAT scans, physiotherapist work, in-person consultations through a lockdown. You know, I paid thousands, and absolutely fine. I remember I was sat there and he turned around to me and he goes, from a medical standpoint, physically, your bones, your alignment, your spine alignment, synovial fluids, cartilage, ligaments, everything, perfectly healthy, he said. He said, I'm not disputing the fact that you're in pain. And he goes, this can be from a mental standpoint. And he goes, this can still be related to your accident, which is all in the medical records. And so I was like, damn. I can't get out of bed because of what's going on up here. So obviously, you know, I'll go straight to a counsellor and find out what's going on. But it's not just a counsellor. This is what really bothers me. I've had some abysmal counsellors, like to the point where I wanted to throw a book at them. They're awful. And some counsellors can make you worse because they're not trained, they're not qualified enough. My recommendation is, if you feel like something has happened to you in the past by anybody, a family member, I mean, I'm talking from like 18 under. If it happened at work, it's different. Not saying it's any less important. I'm just saying it's different. So you need to see a different kind of specialist for it. But anything 18 and under that's happened to you, we're going to call that as a child for being 18 and under. You need to see a trauma specialist because it's trauma that's caused those issues. And this is what a lot of people don't quite understand is, like my best friend, my absolute best friend in the entire world, she knows something happened to her as a child, but will also then not want to get it sorted. It's not that she won't get it sorted, it's that she doesn't want to. And I completely understand why. I did want to get my issue sorted because I couldn't walk. But most people don't, because most people don't have a debilitating injury such as that. They don't think. It has actually been researched. Fibromyalgia comes from nowhere and it is hereditary. Hereditary means passed down from your parents. Fear, trauma, anxiety, depression can all be passed down hereditary through the generations. Because if you are anxious and depressed and you have a child and they grow up in that anxious, depressed environment, what are they inevitably going to be? Anxious and depressed. So if you take that logic, spin it around, you don't want to raise a child when you're anxious and depressed. You need to sort out the anxious, and you need to sort out why you're anxious, sort out why you're depressed. And when I say sort out, I don't mean go to a counsellor for 2 months and think, okay, cool, I'm sorted, I never have to worry about that again. I've been seeing a counsellor for over 2 years about this. And I will always see a counsellor about this. I will always have this at the back of my... Thankfully now it is at the back of my mind because I've done a whole year's work on myself. You know, I've changed so much. And I've grown and developed as a person so much, and I'm so much more open to everybody's opinion and about what the world has to offer. But yeah, my suggestion what really bothers me about all of this, it's the lack of knowledge around it all. That's what really bothers me, is the lack of knowledge around this whole mental health side of things. Like if you go to the doctors and say, I've got mental health problems, they will turn around to you and go, see a specialist, right? the fact that the doctor is saying that he's not a specialist in this particular scenario, and he'll just give you pills. And pills are not beneficial to anyone, I don't think. Just taking loads and loads of pills, how's that going to help? You're going to become addicted to these pills. They're going to change you as a person, whether you want to or not. And they're going to cause so many different problems within you. I'm not saying that antidepressants aren't beneficial alongside therapy. But alongside therapy. Just taking the pills and assuming everything's going to be right is wrong. Either don't take the pills and accept what's wrong is wrong and you deal with that, or do what I'm suggesting and go and get some help and you will be so much better. I'm not talking about seeing a counsellor every single day and like having to divulge every part of your life. I divulged every part of my life over the 18 months that I was seeing this one particular lady every week. But that's because I wanted to, because I created such a bond with this lady that I wanted to tell her absolutely everything. And, you know, I've gone back to see her since, and it's been simply, oh, I'm going to Australia, oh, I'm having a good time, look at my website, blah, blah, blah. Nice chat, how are you doing? You know, you almost build a friendship with these people, whether they're professional or not, because you're going to tell them the deepest, darkest. I told this lady things I didn't even know about myself. This is what really scared me when I came to do this, is that I didn't even know these things had happened. I didn't know anything about myself almost. This is what it started to seem. I didn't know anything about myself. You know, all of these things that had happened throughout my life, all of the problems I had as a kid were all related back to this one, I say one incident, is 1 decade long series of events. And so it's really nice to pinpoint what has happened and why it has affected you over your period of life, because once you find the cause, you're able to find a solution. You got to think about any pandemic. Look at coronavirus for a prime example. What did they have to do first? Find out where it came from. But yeah, it starts up here and then it ends with everything else. Because I mean, you just reach a point where you can't do anything. You burn out. You can't work. You can't work out. That's where I'm at the moment. I've stopped training. I've cut out animal products there or thereabouts for this month, just to regain a sense of control over my life. Because I feel like when I'm training all the time and working all the time, I just don't have enough time for myself. I don't look after myself. You know, the most basic of things I'm talking about as well. I had a friend who was really depressed, and I went around to see him once, and his house was absolutely disgusting, and I will never forget cleaning up for him and him turning around to me and going, "Thank you." And he got out of bed. I will never ever forget that. I basically cleaned his whole house, and I went upstairs, took him a cup of tea, and he just put his feet on the floor and he went, "Thank you so much." And I went, "That's absolutely fine." Because sometimes when stuff gets put on top of stuff, you can't, just where do you start? You just can't fight that. When it gets too much, you just need to leave. Completely exit the situation, allow someone else to come in and help you with it. That is the top thing I'll always say, is that you can never do these things alone. You might be able to do parts of this journey on your own. You could do parts of this journey by yourself, but you can't do the whole thing by yourself. And if you think you can do the whole thing by yourself, you'll never make it to the end. You'll crumble halfway through. Because I've thought, for the past 5 years, no, for the past 2 years, since I left my girlfriend, I was like, I can do anything. I don't need anybody's help. I don't need anybody in my life. It's just me, myself, and I from here on out. You very quickly realise how hard that is. And yeah, of course you can do it. I've done it. It's no fun. It's boring. It's lonely. So find some people that can help you, some people you trust. And I'm like one or two people I'm talking about. I have two friends that I would entrust my credit card with. I have three friends. I I have three friends that I would trust my credit card with. You know, here's my credit card. See you later. Don't spend anything on it. You know, whereas I wouldn't trust my sister with my credit card. I wouldn't trust my sister with my credit card. But they're the kinds of friends that I mean. You know, friends that you would live with, friends that you would jump in front of a bus for. I've got three of them. It's more like having family. It's more like family. Two brothers and a sister, an extra sister. So I've got like two brothers and two sisters. That's the way I look at it. They've helped me with so much. But you don't need friends. Like, you don't need friends. The only person I've needed to help me through this whole process is my counsellor. Trauma specialist. And my parents. I've needed my parents more than I ever thought I would have done in my entire life. You know, 18-year-old kid doesn't want anything to do with their parents, do you know what I mean? Like, especially when they start going out drinking, start doing lots of silly, naughty things. You know, you always have problems with your parents, and people move out. 99% of people I know moved out at the age of 18, and I am 23 still living with my parents through personal choice. Through personal choice, because I love my parents. And if you get on with them, why move out? What's the point? Oh well, yeah, I've moved out. Look at me. I'm in my nice big house by myself. And it's like, okay, come to the pub. Oh, I can't afford it. Come for a drive. Oh, I can't afford the petrol. Let's go for a walk. Oh, I'm too tired. But yeah, when it comes to muscle recovery, you've just got to think, don't go too hard. If it feels good and then it starts feeling bad, stop. End of story, just stop. It's not worth having. Muscle recovery is a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to have to take months. Okay? You're going to have months of just the same boring, mediocre rolling out on the pads, simple stretches. But the months of doing that enables you to build the required muscle slowly over a prolonged period of time, and that's fantastic. That's what you need to do. So the top thing for me, like my back was a big problem. So I was unable to deadlift. I was unable to squat because of how much pain I was in on that particular muscle. It goes through my glute, this muscle, so when it twangs, like my whole right side of my body collapses, almost like a stroke. It's the best way to describe it. It's like having a stroke, but as quickly as like that, you are fine, boom, you're on the floor. There's no in between. So I remember I was squatting one day. I was feeling really good. This was 2 or 3 months after the accident. I had done no gym. I was feeling really good. I built up this nice squat. I took loads of time to just really warm up my knees, really warm up my back. I went down, and as I got in the hole, it just went twang, and I just remember I just went, and it happened so quickly. Most of the time, when things like that happen, it happens in slow motion, but that was. Okay, so upon editing this, I feel like I need a little bit more clarification in this particular segment. What I mean, every single thing that I did off of the doctor's recommendations, and I was getting no help from the third-party insurance company who was supposed to be sending me for physiotherapy and all of that. The issue that obviously happened was COVID stopped everything, and that was the issue. The problem was chiropractors and physiotherapists were deemed as necessary, and the specific physiotherapist that they had sent me to didn't want to work, which is why I am still in pain to this day. Unfortunately, now over a year past the accident, I have had no help from them. I have had to deal with everything myself, and that's why I have continued to go to the gym sporadically over my past the recommended time of 3 months completely doing absolutely nothing. If you spend 3 months in bed, I promise you, you will want to get back in the gym whether you're in pain or not. And the doctor told me that a little bit of pain is fine, and if you don't go back into the gym, you will cause more issues. So I just wanted to specify that I wasn't doing anything thinking, oh, I'm invincible, I'm Superman. Like, I was doing everything off the doctor's recommendations. I have been in enough pain now to know that I don't want to be in pain anymore, and I was in enough pain then to know that I didn't want to be in pain. So it's more of the fact of simply making sure you do what the doctor tells you in terms of muscle recovery, because the doctors do know what they're talking about in terms of your body. Mind is a separate matter, but in terms of your body, they really know what they're talking about. So just do exactly what they say. Back to that. That was, wow, that was quick. I just boom, and I was on the floor. Yeah, and I was like, nope. So, and since that day, I've not squatted over 60 kilos, and it's been horrible. My legs have gotten so skinny, like I can see a gap through them now because I've not been able to train them. Because leading straight off that injury, because then I was putting all of my weight, subsequently, I was putting all of my weight on my left-hand side because I was struggling, because it was pinging because I was in so much pain. But if I took the weight off of my right leg, there was no more pain because I wasn't using that muscle. So for months, I was putting my entire body weight on my left-hand leg, which led to tendonitis in my knees, or in my left knee more specifically. So now I've had to deal with that. It led on from the accident. This is what I mean. So it started with a pain in my back, but now I've got tendonitis in my left-hand knee. So I'm still unable to squat. And it's been over a year I've not squatted, and I'm very, very upset. Because it's my favourite exercise. Squatting and bench pressing, my two favourite exercises in the world, and I can't do one of them. And initially, because I landed on my right-hand side, I messed up my right-hand shoulder, which means I couldn't bench press for ages. And even now, when I come to bench press, because of the amount of exercise I've had to do on my right-hand shoulder to free it up, it's now hypermobile, so it likes to sit in the wrong position, and it's just absolutely abysmal. There's another car. I feel like she's waving. Bye-bye, colleague. So it's all in the wrong position and it's all fucked, and I've just been having to deal with that. So it's just one problem after another, after another, after another, and this is my biggest takeaway. You know, I tried squatting, and I just literally, I put the bar on my back, no weight, and my knee just felt funny, and I just thought, nah, it's not worth the risk, because you're going to go into that squat, you're going to squat once, and then you're going to be fucked for months. It's going to ruin you for months, and what is the point in that? Literally, just take your time. So I've just been doing nothing, literally just been chilling, doing as much as I can upper body wise, and I've been able to do more body weight exercises because there's a lot less strain on my body. So I've still been able to progress with my training, still been able to progressively overload, I've still been able to push myself and get DOMs, but in a different way, and I've absolutely loved it. It's been absolutely brilliant. It's helped me with my posture, my general fitness, my functionality fitness. It's just been phenomenal. So that's my top recommendation, is body weight exercises are fantastic. You don't need weights, you don't need a gym. My entire gym fits on my back if I needed to, and I go places. I really don't know what else to say now. This is becoming quite a theme. I will get better at this, I promise you. But I did not end this video out in any way, shape or form. So I hope you have a very good week. I hope you took a lot away from this. So a lot more knowledge inbound next week. But I hope you took something away. I hope you have a fantastic week. You know what to do.